Hi, it's Chris, and I am here for week 5. Can you believe it? We are on the now formally into the second half of our spiritual development course with the Center for Ministry and Lay Training at Phillips Theological Seminary. Oh my goodness, it just gets better and better. At least it does for me. With this week, we're going to continue with Fowler and Hagberg and Gulick. We're in stage 3 of Fowler, and we're going to keep working with Hagberg's stages. I can't just leave it with Janet, with Hagberg and Gulick's stages of faith as well, although I really do think of them, as I said last week, in terms of spirituality, stages of spirituality. I want you to keep the tension between Hagberg and Gulick and Fowler. There is this correlation. They do work, they can work hand in hand, even though they're talking about stages in different ways. I want you to be aware of that and to keep your eyes open for it this week. Last week, I assigned Janet Hagberg stages of faith descriptions, an oasis of beauty, hope, and healing. You have that reading again this week. Last week, you finished with the quote by Bigner, won't hurt you to hit the beginning of that again, but you're going to pick up with the remainder of that. What you'll notice in that reading are her references for ways of helping people that are in and moving through those stages. So it's a great resource for you to be using in worship services, in small group settings, in Sunday school classes, and the like. So I want you to know that they're there. I want you to draw on what she offers. Think of someone you know who's in Fowler stage 3. Use Fowler, not your own opinion, to make the case for your diagnosis. Now, this is practice for your final. Your final will be taking somebody that you know and doing an analysis, a diagnosis, if you will, of their faith stage. And then you'll be writing a prescription on how they're going to live into, out of, or perhaps live into the next stage, the next phase of their faith and or spiritual development. There will be a lot more about that next week. For now, though, I know that this is practice, and so you're going to be looking for someone you know who's in Fowler stage 3, and then you have to use Fowler to explain why he's in phase 3, and you'll get extra points, little brownie points, you might say, if you bring in Hagberg. I keep calling her Hagberg, forgive me, Hagberg and Gulick into your analysis. All right, so you're going to think of someone you know who's in stage 3 and Fowler stage 3, and then use Fowler to make your case for that. Why is it that you're saying that? Analyze what that is. Bring in Hagberg and Gulick and their stages. How do you see an intersection of those? Where do you see them? How do you see them intersecting? This week you are going to take Janet Hagberg's spiritual life inventory. You need to leave yourself at least a couple of hours to do this. It takes a while. There are, I think, 98 questions. There's the analysis of it, and then there's this further analysis. So I hate to say that you score it. You do score it. It's not like you pass or fail it, though, so know that, all right? But you need at least a couple of hours to take the test, to score it, and then to look at the analysis. Printed out, I believe it's 10 pages, 12 pages. It's not that much. You really need this information. I want you to have that time, to take that time. So I'm going to give you an extra day. So if you want to take care of it on Monday, you are more than welcome to do that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But you do have until 9 a.m. on Thursday for discussion forum 3. And I'm curious to see what surprised you about the the results of the inventory, particularly since you answered the question last week in discussion forum 3 about how you saw yourself. You did this self-analysis of where you think you are, where you thought you were with Hagberg and Gulick's analysis. So we'll see. Were you on target? Were you a little bit off? More about that. As we're moving in through this, I want to share with you a piece from, this is from the description of the book, Religionless. Faithfully Religionless by a man named Timber Hawkeye. This description that I'm reading, I took the one from Amazon, but they're all the same. So I say I took it from Amazon, or the one from by Amazon. This is on, I think, the jacket of the book. I've never seen the actual jacket of the book, but that seems to be where this comes from. This is what it says. When his pursuit of happiness in corporate America feels counterproductive, Timber Hawkeye escapes the fluorescent lit corporate cubicle in Seattle and sets out to fully embrace the stress-free lifestyle of Hawaii. Intrigued and curious about what people believe and why they believe what they do, he questions everything he ever thought was true and discovers the beauty of letting go. If you consider yourself spiritual but not religious, then you're going to love this inspirational book. And if you want to lead a simple and uncomplicated life with happiness at your fingertips, then you'll want to read this page turner more than once. Timber Hawkeye says, "It's not that I'm against religion, I simply don't have one. Nor do I believe that we need to be one to be ethical. My faith is doctrine-free, with a definition of God that doesn't conjure a white man in the sky who dispenses blessings for good behavior and harsh judgments to condemn the bad. That's because I don't believe God does that. Religion does. You see, faith is a spiritual practice of continually letting go of certainty, of ego, and the underlying need to know, while religion is a ceremonial tradition of hanging on, clinging to concrete dogmas, stubborn rigidity, and ageless rituals." I want to read that last sentence again. I didn't do it justice. You see, faith is a spiritual practice of continually letting go of certainty, of ego, and of the underlying need to know, while religion is a ceremonial tradition of hanging on, clinging to concrete dogmas, stubborn rigidity, and ageless rituals. Do you see how Timber juxtaposes faith and religion, and then talks about rituals at the end? I mean, we don't have time to go through Timber's book or even pieces of it, but I want to point out this word rituals that he uses at the end of his quote. He talks about rituals, ageless rituals to be exact, and he puts that onto religion, saying that religion is a ceremonial tradition of hanging on and clinging to ageless rituals. And I want to give you some ways of thinking about religion and what he's calling rituals. And to do that, I want to play with these words, ritual and rite, R-I-T-E. And I have this little piece of paper. Now, I'm having to figure out how to get this so you can see it and how I can see my notes. Can you see my page here where we've got rite, which is really kind of about faith, right? Faith is about knowledge. Faith is the right way, the right knowledge. I know this isn't straight. We have rites, R-I-T-E, and rite is about religion. Religion, it's what we do. We have religious rites, R-I-T-E, and then we have ritual, spirituality. So try to follow with me, or I hope I can do justice to this. All right, but I'm putting my notes back up here, and hopefully you're still seeing this. Rights come with the right way of doing things, okay? And this is where I differ with, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. This is where I differ with with Timber. He talks about these rituals, and I want to take that what he is calling rituals is what I would call rites, R-I-T-E. Rites come with doing things the right way. They often have magical words that must be or are expected to be spoken. In the Christian tradition, baptism is a rite, R-I-T-E, and a baptism isn't really baptism if you don't offer it with those words, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? Communion is a rite. And while I'm playing with words here, Christians have the right to take communion, to participate. They have the right to participate in this rite. And it has those, again, those magical words, those expected words. For many people, communion isn't communion without the magical words. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, he took bread. I filled in at an ELCA church. I was there. I preached for the minister, the priest there one Sunday, a very good dear friend of mine. And I was at the table. I was doing the communion, Eucharist liturgy, and I always weave into it. So I come out of the message and I'm weaving, and I wasn't thinking that, oh, there's this book in front of me with the magic communion words in it, and so I'm going into communion, and from the back you could hear this adult male say to his mother, "What the hell is she saying?" I thought, oh my gosh, that's right, because there are the right words that are supposed to be said, that need to be said in a rite. Okay. Worship is a rite of its own. The words for worship, the order of worship, often come from the book of worship, from the book of common prayer. The doxology is sung after the offering is taken. Regulars in your worship service know when they're going to sing the Gloria Patri, when they're going to say the Lord's Prayer, when they're going to hear the benediction that's spoken at the end of the service, often the one that starts with, "And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you," right? Those are those words, those magic words that make rites right. Rituals, on the other hand, add another dimension to rites. Rituals tend to be rite-free. Okay, they take on the personality of their participants. A way to think about rituals is a ritual is a rite that depends on you all. Rituals depend on others. Ritual is a rite that includes you all, y'all, right? To think Southern here, a rite with y'all is a ritual. The rite of communion comprises magical words, and then it proceeds in whatever traditional way a congregation celebrates or observes it. And isn't that what a lot of us do in communion anyways? We observe what's going on around us or in front of us. A ritualized communion, though, draws its participants past mere observation and presents them with participatory opportunities. And that can be as simple as offering an image for the participants to sit with while they wait their turn, or it could be as simple as inspiring them to sit with a particular word or phrase or thought. You could say that when communion is celebrated as a rite, not much thinking has to go into planning it, other than who's preparing it, who's praying over it, and who's passing it around. If that's all the more thought that you generally give to the communion part of your service, who's preparing it, who's praying over it, and or who's passing it around, communion is a rite, an R-I-T-E, that is done a right way in your church. And all of this, I offer that Timber's experience with religion We're fraught with rights and with what is right and wrong rather than ritual and spirituality. And to that I say, shame on us, church. Shame on us. I mean, what is it in us that perpetuates a religion based on rights? And let me add that perpetuates congregations who determine what is right, where individuals in congregations get to determine what is right and what is wrong. What is it in us that perpetuates a religion that's so mired in so many rights and wrongs and right ways of doing things that ritual is quashed and spiritual nurture and growth take a back seat to faith and religion that is done right? That's why we're in this course, though, isn't it? I know some of you are in here because you need it for your certificate in pastoral ministry, but I like to think of this course as being subversive in some way, because I have this hope that our churches and congregations will move us beyond faith that's done right, beyond a religion that's based on rights, beyond congregations mired in what's right and what's wrong, to a spirituality of depth, a depth of knowing, a deeper depth of community, a deep relationship with God or with Jesus, whomever it is, with whomever it is you best relate. And what will the church look like then? What about our households? What about our street, our road, our hallway, your block of the neighborhood, your apartment building? What about, what would our towns and our cities look like, our counties, our states and our provinces, our countries? What about our continents, our world? What about this earth? What would happen if we could move beyond rights and right and move beyond rights to ritual and building spirituality? What might happen? See, that's what Christian faith and religion and spirituality are meant to be about: changing the world. Changing the world. Your VidLecture's over. Have some fun this week. The Hatberg inventory, fantastic. Having fun with it myself. Told my husband, my Bill, William, we are going to take this inventory. Are you game? He said yes. I hope you are too. Have fun. I'll see you on the boards. Thank you. Bye-bye.